Brethren, I have a question for you. What is the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the word or name Lucifer? What is the first thing that comes into your mind? If you're going to go out and ask people randomly and ask them, who do you think is Lucifer? They would answer you, Satan. That's their answer. And I won't blame you as well, brethren, if that's the first thing that comes into your mind, Satan, because from movies, from video games, from entertainment, and even in Christian literature, we could hear that Satan is Lucifer, or Lucifer is Satan, and that's how this world believe who this being is. So a lot of people believe that Lucifer is Satan, and I believe, brethren, this is one of the things that we can further study, because in our church, in the congregation of Yahweh or Church of God, we know that Lucifer is actually a mistranslation. But sometimes that is just all we know. That's all we know about this topic. And as I study this topic, there's more to it than that. There's actually a deeper deception that is within this name. And that's what I'm going to share with you this afternoon. The question is, the title of this message is, who is Lucifer? Right? Who is Lucifer? The word Lucifer, or the name Lucifer, is found in Isaiah 14 verse 12. Isaiah 14 verse 12. This is actually the only place where you can read in the modern translations, in the Bible translations, the name Lucifer. And the Bible says in Isaiah 14 verse 12, how you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How are you cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations. So this is basically the primary source of our discussion today. Who is Lucifer? Who is this being that is being referred here in Isaiah? Now, if you're going to look into the whole context of Isaiah 14, we would soon discover without a shadow of a doubt that this Lucifer, the name Lucifer here, is used to refer to Satan the devil. Right? So that is something that is well established, that this Lucifer here is Satan. But how did Satan come to be referred to as Lucifer? How is it that a lot of people, even this whole world, would use the name Lucifer to refer to Satan? So just a little bit of history, brethren. In 382 AD, Pope Damasus asked the scholar Jerome to make official revisions of the Latin versions used in the Catholic Church. So at that time, there's a lot of versions of their Bible, and he asked Jerome to make an official revision so that there would be an official rendering of the Bible. So this Jerome, if you look into the slides, this Jerome has written the Latin Vulgate, which is actually a poor translation of the Bible. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem, brethren. He was expected to use the Hebrew text as his basis for the Old Testament translation. But instead of using the Hebrew text, he used the Greek Septuagint, which was written by Origen. Alright? So instead of using the Hebrew text, he used the Greek Septuagint. So in this Bible verse, brethren, Isaiah 14:12, Lucifer came from the Hebrew word which is Hallel. That's the Hebrew word. And Origen mistranslated this word into phosphorus, which is the Greek word. So when it came to Jerome, because he based his Latin Vulgate to the work of Origen, because it was already mistranslated at the first place. So since that happened, normally what would happen is that he would also have the wrong translation, because his basis of the translation was already incorrect. So that's why, brethren, phosphorus and Lucifer, phosphorus is for Greek and Lucifer is for Latin, they mean the same thing completely. It means light bringer or light bearer, right? So that's how they got the word Lucifer. right? Because it was based on a wrong translation, then obviously what will happen is that Jerome would also have a wrong translation of Isaiah 14 verse 12. Right, so that's history, okay? So we have that clearly. Now, there's a very huge problem with this case, brethren. You know why, brethren? If you go to the New Testament, there's a huge problem with that translation. And for us who don't know Greek, it's easy to overlook this problem. So let's go here, brethren. Let's go to 2 Peter 1 verse 16 to 19. 2 Peter 1 verses 16 to 19. For we did not follow cunningly devised fables when we made known to you the power and coming of our Lord Yahshua the Messiah. So that is Jesus Christ, Yahshua. But were eyewitnesses of his majesty. For he received from God the Father honor and glory when such a voice came to him from excellent glory. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And we heard this voice which came from heaven, and when we were with him on the holy mountain. Now, right? So, that is the first part. It is established here that we are talking about Yahshua the Messiah, okay? Now, here comes the problem in verse 19. And so we have a prophetic word confirmed, which you do well to heed as a light that shines in a dark place, until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. Now for us, brethren, if you don't know Greek, if you don't look into the Greek word of this word, morning star, it's so easy to miss the mistranslation. All right? If you look into the Greek word of this morning star, can you guess what is the Greek word of this? Actually, the Greek word is phosphorus. All right? Phosphorus. And then, if you're going to translate that into Latin, that is Lucifer. Right? So, if you're going to use the Latin word here, we're going to have a translation that looks like this. And so we have the prophetic word confirmed, which you do well to heed as light that shines in dark place, until the day dawns and Lucifer rises in your hearts. Did you see that, brethren? If you are going to believe that Satan is Lucifer, then it tells us that we are actually waiting for Lucifer to rise in our heart. Did you see that, brethren? Now the question is this: why did the translators use morning star in this particular passage, while they use the word Lucifer in Isaiah 14 verse 12? Why is it, brethren? Where did they got the word morning star? Where did they get it, brethren? They got it from Revelation 22 verse 16, where we read. This is actually talking about Yahshua. Now, verse 16 in Revelation 22, I, Yahshua, have sent my angel to testify to you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. Right? The bright and morning star. So, if this is the correct, if we are going to look into the correct translation, we are now going to see what is the Greek word in this particular particular passage, Revelation 22 verse 16. Now, I can tell you, brethren, that the morning star in this verse is not phosphorus. We read, it is the orthrenos, which means morning, and aster, which is star. Orthrenos, aster. Did you see that, brethren? So why is it that in Revelation 22 verse 16, they use the term morning star, while in fact it is not the Greek word phosphorus? But in the writing of Peter, they use the word morning star when it is phosphorus. Did you see that, brethren? The meaning? Because the answer is this: because they don't have the guts to acknowledge and correct their mistake earlier in Isaiah 14 verse 12. They feel like, we already used Lucifer in this verse, so we could just adjust, or perhaps we could subtly change this meaning. Oh, I know, we can use the code name Morning Star. It's problem solved. A lot of people now believe that actually Lucifer is Satan. But if you're looking to the Greek words, and if you're going to do a word study, it is actually the wrong translation. So the next question for us to answer is, who is the real light bringer, or Lucifer? Who is the real light bringer, brethren? So if not Lucifer, who is the light bringer? My main concern here is we should know who is the real light bringer. Alright? So if you're going through the Bible, it is very consistent. There's no shadow of doubt who is the real light bringer. And that's why, brother, I just want to read a few verses here. John 8 verse 12, Yahshua speaking here, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. And John 1 verse 16, 6 to 9. John 1 verses 6 to 9. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. This man came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. And who was talking here, brethren? It was Yahshua. That was the true light, which gives light to every man coming into the world. You see, brethren, Yahshua is the true light, because there is an impostor. There is a false light. And that's why the Apostle John here is writing that he is the true light. In John 9 verse 5, brethren, as long as I am in the world, Yahshua is speaking here, I am the light of the world. You see that, brethren? So, the true light bringer actually is no other than Yahshua, the Messiah. He is the light. He is the true light bringer. And yet, brethren, this world believes that it is Satan, the devil, who is the Lucifer, the light bringer. Did you see that, brethren? Did you see how subtle or how wide the deception of Satan is? Yeah, he is truly the master deceiver. That he was able to deceive the whole world into believing that he is the light bringer instead of Yahshua. This gives us a brand new insight into what 2 Corinthians 11 verse 13 verse 15. Notice, brethren. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. This gives us a new meaning, a new understanding of this verse. You know why, brethren? Because an angel is a messenger. And a messenger brings something. And into this passage, brethren, it says, he is the bringer of light. You see that, brethren? Satan have actually transformed himself to be a bringer of light, or Lucifer. That's how extensive the deception of Satan here on earth. Now, some people would argue that Lucifer is actually just Satan's name before his fall. You might have heard that, brethren, before that. Actually, that translation is correct because Satan is referred to as Lucifer before his rebellion. Is that correct, brethren? Well, let me ask you, brethren. When did Satan become a light bringer? Was there any time in his existence that he brought light? If yes, to whom did he bring light? There were no humans yet before his rebellion, brethren. And so we could see here that Satan has never been and will never be a light bringer. And we must not call him Lucifer because he is never a light bringer. And even before his fall, he was never been a light bringer. That's why, brethren, John 8:44 tells us, you are of the father, the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. Now, to those people who insist that his name is Lucifer before his fall, they have to read this, brethren. They have to read this because he says, Yahshua said that he was, what? A murderer. From the beginning. Alright? Even from the beginning, brethren, he is already a murderer. He does not stand in truth because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, you see that, brethren, he is really a deceitful being. He speaks from his own sources, for he is a liar and the father of it. Brethren, the truth of the matter is this. Satan is the destroyer, the deceiver, and the perfect epitome of darkness. He didn't bring light, he brought darkness, destruction, and deception. That's why, brethren, calling him Lucifer is a great insult to the true light bringer. Calling him Lucifer makes us a tool to continue the worldwide deception. The name Lucifer never belonged to Satan. Truly, brethren, the whole world is deceived, and we can be thankful for our Abba Yahweh that He has revealed unto us this truth. Brethren, may this truth help us better understand who Satan is, how he deceives the people, and how we can better overcome his evil devices.